Hello my friends, Paul here in the RoJoBe Music Workshop, and welcome to part 7 of the classical guitar conversion to steel strung acoustic guitar. So it's actually been quite a while since I made the last video, and I think in that one I was aligning the bridge with my special jig, my bridge alignment jig, to get everything all lined up. And so I said that the next stage was to actually glue the bridge on. Well, unfortunately I lost the footage of the video of gluing the bridge on. Didn't really miss a lot. You know, for my regular viewers, you will have seen that kind of thing quite a few times before on my other videos. So that footage is lost of actually gluing the bridge on, but it's now done. It's on there really nicely. There are no gaps anywhere all the way around. It's really gone on nice. I did end up having to put a small spacer underneath the bridge, about 1.5 mil thick, 60 thou for those of you in 1972, yeah, it's really gone nicely, and as you can see, there's quite a bit of filler over it as well. I think I mentioned in the previous episode, or one of the previous episodes, that the top being a little bit rough, I would have to put some filler in it. So the whole thing has been sanded all the way over, the headstock, the neck and the body, and as you can see, I've put filler in here as well and sanded that nice and smooth. It's not down to its final sanding yet, but it really is really good. You know, obviously where you can see the filler is where there were low spots, and particularly around the bridge, and it seems to be sort of up this side more than anywhere, and a little bit across the bottom there as well. So there were a few low spots, but not really bad. And now, apart from a little bit just here, that's really smooth, really nice. So the whole guitar has had a good sanding all the way over. Not the final sanding yet, I still need to do a little bit more sanding, but I would say it's like 95% done. The nut is on there, which I still have to adjust, and I will have to adjust the saddle as well, but obviously all of that will come more or less at the last stage. Once I've, you know, got the strings on, then I'll be checking intonation, string action, string height, and adjusting as necessary. So apart from a little bit more sanding that still needs to be done, the next stage is painting. So obviously I'm going to be putting a coat or 2 or 3 of primer on it first, and I'm going to wet sand between each coat, because the whole guitar is being painted, so the whole thing will have primer on it, apart from the bridge and the fretboard, which obviously I'll have to mask off before I do the painting. This guitar is not for me, and it's not for a customer. It's going to be for sale in the shop. Now this is where I need your input or help or whatever. I am a little bit undecided at this stage what colour I'm going to paint this. Now I have all colours. I've got acrylic paint in all colours, right the way through the spectrum and everything in between. So I'd like some suggestions. If you leave the suggestions down in the comments below about what colour you think I should paint this. Now bear in mind, it is going to be for sale in my shop, so customised colouring and paint jobs, not really an option. It needs to be fairly plain. It can be a bit interesting, but I'm thinking darker colours. You know, I don't want it white or pink or yellow or anything like that. That's just not going to be. It'll appeal to a few people, but not many people. This has got to be appealing to, you know, a wide range of customers. So Any thoughts? What colour I should paint this thing? I'll just come back a bit so you can, get an idea of the style of guitar. And it is, semi-acoustic electric as well. So, and the headstock, quite a nice shaped headstock, a little bit unusual. So, what colour shall I paint this thing? Like I said, I'm thinking dark colours, but it's going to be, excuse me, you're not going to see any of the wood grain, so it's not going to be, a patterned finish. It's going to be a base finish. But what colour? Like I said, no bright colours or customised paint jobs, because although they'll look nice, whatever it is, any of you decided, they're not necessarily going to appeal to all customers. So I want it to be a fairly, boring colour, I suppose. So, what are your thoughts? I mean, browns, greens, blues, purple, not bright purple. Perhaps a mixture of two colours, maybe. What do you think? As I said, leave some suggestions in the comments below, and if I get, a few suggestions, then I will pick one of those. If for example I got, I don't know, just for example, I got 50 suggestions, 20 of them were all one colour and all of the rest were all different colours, I might go with the majority. Or if it's, just a few suggestions and they're all different colours, I will probably pick one of those depending on what they are. I'll go with one which I think will be the best colour to paint it, but from your suggestions. So, give me your thoughts. Now, so as I said, 95% of the sanding is done. I've still got to give it a little final sanding, and then mask it up, i.e. the fretboard and the nut and the bridge, and obviously I'll mask all the holes as well, ready for painting. And it's going to get probably 2 or 3 coats of primer, wet sanded between each coat so that I can see if there's still any low spots or anything like that. And if I do find any, then a little bit more filler, then a light sanding, and then another coat of primer. I'm not going to film any of that, but I will show what it looks like when that's all done, ready for its top coat. So yeah, we're at the stage now where it's just sanding and then painting and then final assembly. However, I am putting this project on hold just for a short while, not for months, just maybe a couple of weeks or so. Couple of reasons. I think I've got early onset arthritis, because when I'm doing sanding and chiseling and all sorts of things with my hands, they hurt like hell. So I think I might have arthritis or what's the other one, osteoarthritis, because my hands really hurt when I do this sort of close work and holding tools. So I'm giving myself a little bit of a rest before I continue with this. As I said, not too long, a week or two maybe. But one of the other reasons that I'm putting it on hold is my main reason for building or converting this guitar into a steel strung acoustic guitar. I can't talk properly today. Is because I had none in stock. No acoustic guitars in stock. Well, now I do. I've bought some more acoustic guitars, so probably see a few of them there. Yeah, so I've now got some acoustic guitars in stock. I contacted my supplier and I got them to bring them some guitars for me, and I ended up buying 10 acoustic guitars and 4 ukuleles. I'm not going to show the ukuleles because, well, you can probably see them in the background there. There's 4 of them. Let me just zoom in a bit so you can see them. Oh, wrong way. My head's in the way now. Yeah, they're ukuleles. They're cheap ukuleles, sopranos. So I bought 10 guitars and 4 ukuleles. Now that came to a total of just a little bit under 27,000 Thai baht. Now that equates to a little over £600, about £620, or about $840. £600, $840 for 10 guitars and 4 ukuleles. That's pretty good. Now, obviously, they're not high-end, you know, brand names or anything like that. Some of the guitars are actually really nice, really, you know, really built well and finished well. As I said, they're not high-end brands. They're all relatively cheap, really. As I said, 10 guitars and 4 ukuleles for the equivalent of a little over £600 or $800. Well, you're going to pay that for one decent guitar. And that's not to say that these are all rubbish, because they're not. They are pretty good for cheap guitars. So they ranged from, I think, 1,200 baht up to 3,400 baht, which even the most expensive is still under £100. And what I used to do when I bought these guitars is I used to put 100% markup on them for retail sale, because I got them, you know, get them really cheap from my supplier. Ridiculously cheap. So I used to put 100% markup on them for retail sale. Well, I'm not doing that now. I'm only putting 50% on top. So, you know, they will sell a lot easier and quicker. The customer is still getting an absolute bargain, and I'm still making a little bit of profit. Not a huge amount, but, you know, it's not really about that for me. If it was, then I'd do things differently. Now, my supplier that I use are really good. They're based in Bangkok, which is about 30 miles from where we are, 50k, roundabout, or just the other side of Bangkok. But they bring the guitars to me. They load them up in a truck, they bring them to me, they lay them out on the floor in my shop so that I can have a look at them, you know, pick them up, feel them and everything else before I commit to buying anything. And I can literally choose the ones I want and say no to the ones I don't want. And then once I've, you know, taken my pick of what I want, they usually like to take a little bit of payment there and then, but then they give me 30 days credit for the rest. You know, they'll take like sort of 10 to 20% of the money that I owe at the time, and then the rest they say, you know, 30 days credit to pay it, which is really good. So they bring them to my door, lay them out on my shop floor so that I can choose them and actually see them and feel them in person, and choose what I want, and then get them and pay, you know, 30 days later on credit. So yeah, so that's really good. So that's one of the reasons I'm putting this project on hold. The other reason is my hands need a little bit of a rest. Although I have done most of the hard work, you know, the laborious work, the work that makes your hands hurt. But so I'm going to be coming back to this in a week or two. You know, it is quite near to the sort of finishing stages, so I do want to get it done. But once again, I want your suggestions about what colour to paint this guitar. It's going to get a couple of coats of primer when I get back to it, and then once I've done that, I will make another short recording to show, you know, it painted it in the primer. And I want your suggestions what colour to paint it. Not really interested in bright colours because, like I said, it's got to appeal to as many customers as possible. And yeah, so what do you think? What colour? Or colours, if you like. Nothing too complicated, because painting, as I've said before, is not my strong point. I am getting a little bit better, but if I try anything complicated, I'll mess it up. So, you know, keep it simple. So, suggestions please. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, tell your friends, colleagues, relatives, etc. about my channel, those who might be interested. Like, comment, subscribe, share like hell, all the stuff. I'm still, you know, my numbers are still creeping up, but creeping. I want to try and get my numbers up as much as possible. So, suggestions please on the colour of this guitar. In the meantime, look after yourselves, look after each other. We will see you soon. Peace out.